Let's begin at the beginning, the very first sentence of the Hebrew Bible, the Torah. You probably know it in English as, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." We all know these words, but the story they tell, the story they were written to tell, is far more complex. It is the story of Elohim. So today, together, we're going to approach these words differently, not as a simple statement or as a story. Instead, we're going to analyze the original Hebrew language itself, letter by letter, word by word, to discover the deeper meaning built into the structure of this ancient verse. This is an adventure of discovery. We'll go slowly, step by step. No assumptions, no rush. We'll look carefully at each letter, exploring how ancient Hebrew, a language built from meaningful symbols, guides us to insights hidden in plain sight for thousands of years. And the journey will lead us to a profound understanding about the very nature of reality, creation, and what we've traditionally called God. Let's begin. Hebrew is not like English, it's structured differently. Ancient Hebrew words are built from roots, typically three-letter combinations. Each letter, which was originally a pictographic glyph in an ancient language known as Paleo-Hebrew, actually conveys a meaningful concept. To uncover meaning, we break words down to these three-letter roots, exploring the original symbolic meaning of each letter. Then carefully, we look at how these meanings combine and relate to each other. This process is careful and deliberate. So, to demonstrate, let's begin with the word translated as heavens in Hebrew shamayim. The Hebrew word shamayim is written using three letters, shin, mem, and yod. Let's examine each carefully, focusing first on the original Paleo-Hebrew meanings, symbols representing everyday objects. Shin or sh originally showed two front teeth. Think of teeth, they bite, separate, and transform food. Shin symbolizes separation, pressure, and refinement through careful division or heat, a bit like fire. Mem or m originally was a simple wave, water. Think of water's fluidity, its life-giving flow, and its chaotic potential. Mem symbolizes fluid potential, motion, and chaos that's just waiting for structure. Yod, or the letter Y, originally was an outstretched hand. Imagine, if you will, a hand planting a seed, performing careful work. Yod symbolizes agency, intentionality, action, purposeful direction. Each letter is clear and simple alone. But honestly, the real meaning emerges when we consider how these three ideas coexist and relate. Let's pause for a moment, carefully considering the three together. Shin, which is separation, plus mem, representing potential, plus yod, which stands for agency. Imagine a place where potential, that is, mem, is refined and structured by shin through intentional action, yod. This is what heaven literally is. The relational coexistence of these three aspects, structured potential with purposeful agency. It's not some abstract place, it's actually the very condition that makes meaningful action possible. But notice something else critical. In Hebrew, the word shamayim has a dual plural ending, implying two inseparable sides or aspects. This implies that heaven has two expressions. One is a positive side, constructive refinement, nourishing flow, meaningful action, and the other is a negative side, destructive pressure, overwhelming chaos, futile action. Both coexist, two sides of the same coin. Now let's carefully consider the word for earth, eretz, composed of three letters, aleph, resh, tseid. Again, we explore each original symbol carefully. Aleph originally depicted an ox head. The ox symbolizes strength, power, specifically strength harnessed, controlled, directed toward productive ends. Resh, which is written as R, originally showed a human head or a summit, the topmost point. It symbolizes form, identity, and structure. Tzad, that's the letter TS, depicted a trail or a snare, symbolizing a bounded path, direction and constraint, and the idea of consequence or result from action. Again, let's consider how these three relate carefully. Strength, that's Aleph, operating within form, which is Resh, guided and constrained by paths and consequences, or Sadeh. Earth, then, is not just a passive place. It's the field where meaningful strength is directed through structured form, defined by consequence. Now we step back and view these two words in context. The text says heavens and earth. Specifically, there are two heavens, positive and negative aspects of Shamayim, and one earth, Eretz, This is a triadic relationship with three parts that, kind of mutually define each other. Positive heaven represents purposeful, structured creation. Negative heaven stands for chaotic, destructive imbalance. And earth is the manifest place where these two forces interact and result in concrete outcomes. So, we've now carefully analyzed heavens and earth as a structured system. But notice, there's something still left unexplained in the verse. Elohim. The verse begins, "In the beginning Elohim created." But who or what is Elohim? Traditionally, it's translated simply as God, but this translation, well, it imposes an idea of an external deity, separate above, outside the system we just carefully analyzed. But Hebrew is more precise, more structured. Elohim, like the other words, must be understood carefully and structurally. The word Elohim used here specifically conveys the idea of structured will, the organized force of intent. It's not a personal deity name like Yahweh or El Elyon used elsewhere. Elohim here is the organized, purposeful will within the relational system itself. Let's look carefully at the sentence again. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. We now see three distinct but inseparable components here. First, Elohim's structured will, the organizing intent. Second, the act of creation, or bara, the relational event space itself, the ongoing condition of differentiation. And third, creation itself, heavens and earth, the resulting structured system. But here's the critical insight. Elohim, or structured will, doesn't exist outside the system. It arises with it. It is defined by the very act of creating, the process and the result itself. It is not an external actor imposing form from above, but emerges with the structure as a crucial part. The text is describing a self-organizing relational emergence, not an external divine act. So, why does this matter? Why is it really critical that we understand Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 so carefully? Well, because misunderstanding Elohim as some sort of separate God figure, above and beyond the world, introduces a false division. It tells us, basically, that we are separate, divided from our source, from our world, and even from each other. But what Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 actually says is revolutionary. There is no external separation. The will to create, Elohim, the process of creation, bara, and the result of creation, the heavens and the earth, are all co-integral. They actually define each other. In short, we are not divided from the source. We are part of the creative system itself. By carefully analyzing the Hebrew, we discover that Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 is not, after all, a story about external creation. It's really a structured insight into existence itself, a call to understand ourselves, our world, and even our idea of God, not as separate or external but as relational, co-integrated and unified. This is the profound insight that's been hidden in plain sight since the very beginning.